Today I want to share another manifestation story while I do my nails. So I was thinking about this because over the weekend my sister purchased the latest Bashar event and it was on resonance. So it talks about vibration, energy, and everything, and it was a really good talk. And I was remembering all my experiences with Bashar and how, like, when I discovered him, I remember watching, it was several years ago, like a Sedona event. And I was like, wow, I would love to, go to Sedona and go to the Bashar event. And I ended up being able to go to my first Bashar event in 2017 when I moved to Cali. So I was able to go see him in Anaheim, and that was a really great experience. But I didn't really have a chance to go see him in Sedona until 2019. So it was the last event that they had in Sedona. And I was so blessed because I got to go to Sedona before I actually attended the Bashar event. But I still wanted to go see him in Sedona. So here's the story of how that went. So around that time, I was working a lot. I was working days. And I also took a job at night so I could make extra money because I was working towards buying a new car and I wanted a specific car. So I was working towards that. And then the Bashar event came up. So I was like, I'm definitely going to Sedona, Arizona. So I bought the tickets to the event and booked my flight. And I also got a hotel like right across from the Performing Arts Center where they were having the event. So everything was all set. And that previous night I worked because I was like, I can make a little extra money. So I decided to work. Got off like literally early in the morning. And then I got to the house and I was running a little late because I had to put air in the tire. I was like, I better do it though, just for safety purposes. Because I was like, maybe I could just drive back because I lived really close to the workplace. But I was like, it's okay. So I put the air in the tire and everything. That ran me like 15 minutes late. So I had to hurry up and get ready. So I had to jump in the shower, do my makeup. And then I got on the phone to book Uber or Lyft. I'm not sure which one I got, but I had to do that. And they were running a little late. By this time it was like around maybe 4:40 in the morning when they came, because my flight was leaving at 6:30. So I was like, oh no. But I was like, well, it's okay. I could get there at least by around 5. Because it was maybe like a 20-minute drive, 25-minute drive to the San Jose airport. So I was like, I'm good. Because I also had like the pre-check, so I don't have to wait in line at the airport. So I was like, I'm good. So I get in the ride share, and then we're on the highway, and we hit traffic. I'm like, it's not even 5 a.m. Why is there so much traffic? I mean, in the Bay Area, there's a lot of traffic, but typically not that early. So I was like, oh no, what's going on? And then we're just sitting there. Time is ticking. It's getting closer to 5. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna miss this flight. And I was getting so worried. So I'm just sitting in the car, and then like I tell myself, okay, I gotta calm down because it's not gonna help for me to get all stressed out about it because I can't do anything about the traffic. So I'm sitting here like telling myself everything's gonna be all right, and like convincing myself, okay, if you don't make this flight, there's a reason for it. If you're supposed to make it, you'll make it. If you don't, there's a reason. Don't worry about it. Everything happens, for a reason, of course. So once I did that and I calmed down, like literally the second, a red truck passed me on the right hand side and it said Phoenix, Arizona on the side of the truck. So I was like, oh, thank you. I knew I was going to make the flight. And then like a little while later, the traffic cleared up and there was an accident on the road. That's what was holding up the traffic because I knew it was kind of weird. It was too early for that much traffic. So I was like, wow, that was a blessing too, because I was thinking like if I hadn't put like air in the tire, after work, or yeah, I could have gotten in an accident. So I was like, oh, that's a blessing in disguise. So I made it there, no problem. Got through security and everything, and got up to the gate, and they still weren't even getting on the flight yet. So I was like, wow, that's great. So I still had some time before the plane took off. And so since I worked, I was so tired. I basically slept on the airplane, and then got to Phoenix, grabbed some breakfast at the airport, and then went to pick up my rental car, and then I drove to Sedona. So it was maybe like a little bit less than 2 hours drive. Yeah, roughly about 2 hours from Phoenix to Sedona. And then once I got to Sedona, I think the event was around like in the afternoon. It wasn't early in the morning, I don't believe. Yeah, it was a little later in the afternoon. So once I got to Sedona, I went to, I believe, Wildflower. Is that what the place is called? It's a little restaurant in Uptown. And I had lunch there, or brunch. And then I drove all the way to the Performing Arts Center, and I just basically parked under some shade and just relaxed and tried to take another quick nap because I knew it was going to be an all-day event. So then I ended up talking to my friend on the phone, and then I was like, okay, I think I'll just go in so I could get a good seat inside and try to sit in the front row, which is not really the front row because the front row is reserved for the people who are working the event, and also the people who are asking questions to Bashar, they also sit on the front on the side. So basically it'll be like the second row or third row is the front row seats at the events. So after a little while of waiting in the car, I decided to go into the center, and I'm walking up. It's like a slight hill. So I'm walking up there, and then I see an entrance, but like I don't see anybody there. But there weren't that many people there because I was early, like maybe over an hour early, maybe 2 hours early. It was pretty early. So I didn't see anybody. So I just keep walking up this like entrance, like a hill paved pathway. And then I turn to the right and I see like glass doors. And I'm like, is this the right place? And then I hear a voice behind me tell me that it is the right place. Like, you're in the right place. And then I turn around and it was Daryl Anka. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was on the phone this time, so I wasn't really paying attention. And then I was like startled. So I was like, all I could tell him was like, hi. And then he's like, hi. And then he walks in and goes past me. So I was like, wow. So then what happened was I just ended up getting in the line. And then I did end up getting in the second row on the left-hand side, like where the people wait to go up to the podium to speak. So I sat there and I was able to sit beside this one lady. And she was so excited. I think it was her first Bashar event, I believe. So she was so excited to be there. And she was like manifesting, asking questions. So she wanted to ask a question for that day. So basically, if you want to ask a question to Bashar that time, before you go in, you would submit your name. And then they'll do a drawing before the event starts, and then you'll line up on the side, and then you'll go up and you can ask your questions. So that lady, she was like so excited. She's like, I know I'm gonna be able to ask a question. And I was like, yeah, you could do it. So anyway, she wasn't able to ask her questions that day, but she did get called the second day, so she did manifest her wish. So that was really neat. So I attended that the first day, the first talk. And then after that, I basically went and checked into the hotel, and it was right across the street. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like they have like a kind of a hotel right there. So I stayed there, and then I took another nap because I was so tired. I was taking all these like mini micro naps that day. And then in the evening we had a meditation. So they gave us like two choices, whether to like go inside into the auditorium and sit in there, or sit out on the football field. So I decided to sit out on the football field because I was like, maybe I'll see something interesting in the sky. So I was sitting out there, but it was pretty cool because it was exactly like around this time of year 3 years ago. So it was pretty cool. I took a little blanket with me to sit on the grass, and then I looked up at the sky and did the meditation, and it was thundering too over in the distance. So they were telling people like, hey, if you want to come in, you could come in. But I was like, I think it'll be all right. It wasn't raining or anything, but it was such a beautiful night and such a good experience. And then after that, I went back to the hotel. No, first I think I went to Safeway. Yeah, I went to Safeway to grab some food because like the restaurants in Sedona closed so early, so everything was pretty much closed after that time. So I just went to Safeway, grabbed some food, and then went back to the hotel, ate dinner, and then took like a bath. They had a really nice bathtub in that place. Like it was I don't know if it's a resort, but it was really pretty. So then the next day, I woke up and I went back to the second day's event, and this time I didn't really go early because I sat like in the front the first day, so I was like, oh, it's okay. And I kind of wanted to sit in the middle so I have a full view of the stage, because on the side, like so close up on the side, like you can't see the entire, well, you can see the stage, but the views are a little skewed, I guess is the right word, I don't know. But so I kind of sat like in the middle, a little way, like maybe not too far back, but it wasn't too far in the front either. So I sat there and it was a good day. And then pretty much after that, I ended up just driving back to Phoenix and getting on the plane and heading back to California. So that was cool. And that experience was really neat because it taught me, if something is meant for you and you're supposed to make it, you're going to make it. So there's no reason to sit there and worry like I did when I was sitting in the traffic and thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make this event now. So if you're ever in a situation and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make this, like, make it in time for this or that, just know that if you're supposed to make it, you'll make it. And if you don't, there's a reason for it. So don't stress out. Everything will always work out. Another lesson I learned from this experience is that I need to be in a better flow state when manifesting. Of course, I manifested what I wanted, but I was working so much at that time that I didn't mention this, but I developed some digestive issues that time. So I only worked for maybe about 4 months, but by that time I had to stop because I started not being able to digest food. I could barely eat without feeling sick. And I knew that, yeah, of course, I manifested my car early. I was supposed to get it the next month, but I ended up getting it 1 month earlier. And I even got to travel and go see Bashar because I had the money. And I even had money left over, but at the same time, I put my health at risk. And I remember my friend always telling me health is wealth. And it's true because I could have done something irreversible, but I was blessed that I was able to heal myself within like a few weeks. But ever since then, I started trying to more consciously manifest in a way that was more in alignment with myself, instead of kind of being impatient and just figuring out a way and kind of pushing forward. And of course I was able to manifest, and sometimes you're not able to manifest certain things even when you push because it's not meant to be. So I know it was meant for me to go, but I feel like I could have found a way that was more better, let's say. So, and that's still something that I'm working on till this day currently, working on consciously manifesting in a way that is in alignment with who I am and that kind of flows better. Because then in the end, once you get what you desire, you'll be happier and you could keep it and everything is good. But sometimes if you force stuff, you know, you revert back to old patterns. Maybe you can't keep the items, or, you know, things collapse, like things don't work out. Or even if you manifest, you're just not happy. So that's another lesson I learned from this experience, and that was a really big one. So I hope you enjoyed my story, and I will see you in the next video.